Hi everyone, welcome to another Science with Mrs Scullion video. Today we're going to learn how to make gloop or oobleck. For today's video you will need 1 cup of water, 1.5 cups of corn flour, a few drops of food colouring, a bowl and a spoon to mix. Hi everyone, it's Mrs Scullion here, back with some science for you. And I've got my lovely science assistant Isla again.
Hi.
And today we're going to show you how to make gloop. So for gloop you're going to need
A cup of water, 1.5 cups of corn flour, some food colouring, and a bowl.
Okay, so today we're going to use a clear bowl just so that you can see what we're doing. But if you're making this at home, it's a little bit messy. So I'm going to suggest that you either do this outside or in an area where it's really easy to clean up. Best to be prepared and have a towel handy for those messy little fingers. Okay, so the first step is to add our 1.5 cups of corn flour to our bowl. So corn flour looks a little bit like icing sugar. So when you're pouring it in, be a little bit careful, otherwise it'll go everywhere. Okay, that's great. And then we're going to add the food colouring and the water. So our suggestion is that you add the food colouring to the water before you add it to your corn flour. Okay, will we just add a few drops?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you colour your water before, add a little bit, give it a little bit of a stir. I'll use my finger. And that'll be great. And then when we're adding the water, if we add it slowly, just that's it. All the way over all of the corn flour. Now, while we've got these measurements, it's often quite a good idea to have a little bit extra corn flour about and a little bit extra water, just so you get the consistency quite right. Okay, here we go. Now, you can just get stuck in with your hands, but I think today we're going to use a spoon before we get a little messy. So the best thing about it is that you give it just a little bit of a stir so that you get all the powder started to move around. I think that's us probably done all we can with the spoon today. So Isla, do you want to get your hands in?
Yeah.
Okay. Now the good thing about gloop is that it's really, really messy. But it's also a very bizarre substance. Gloop is a solid and a liquid, dependent on the amount of pressure and force that you add to it. Quite often, gloop is known as Oobleck, and it gets its name from a Dr. Seuss book called Bartholomew and the Oobleck. So I mentioned 2 states of matter there. We were talking about solids and liquids, and as you can see, our gloop or our Oobleck has started to be a little bit more solid. So when we're touching it, it's quite hard, and we have to really dig in before it starts to change to a liquid. Now, a solid and a liquid are 2 things that we've talked about quite a lot in school. So a solid we know is something that keeps a solid shape. For example, this block of Lego. It's this shape and that shape doesn't change. Whereas a liquid has the ability to change its shape. In here we've got a glass of water and it's the shape of this glass. But if I pour it into this other glass, the liquid changes its shape, and it changes its shape to this glass. So a liquid is something that we can pour and that we can change shape. Now Oobleck flits between a solid and a liquid, depending on the amount of pressure that you apply to it. When we squeeze it and apply pressure, it becomes solid. But when we release our hands, when we release that pressure, that force, it changes to a liquid and it starts to flow. So sometimes if you leave your oobleck for a little bit of time, it can be quite deceiving. What did the bowl look like when we came back to our oobleck?
It looked like it's the oobleck is just turned into liquid. But if you put your fingers in, you can see that there's little clumps and it's not, underneath it's not liquid.
So after a while it starts to settle and it goes hard on the bottom and it looks like liquid on the top. But as soon as you get your hands back in and start moving that about, it changes. If you find that your oobleck goes really watery, you can add a little bit more corn flour. And if it goes really solid, add a little bit more water. So you get the right consistency to play in your gloop. So the thing about Gloop is that it changes every single time. We like to carry out lots of little investigations just to kind of see what's going to happen. Sometimes we like to even take little Lego characters and we'll put them on top of the Gloop when we first make it, or we'll leave it for a night and we'll put it on the next day just to see what happens. Will the Lego man sink? Will the Lego man stand tall? Who knows? Today, the Lego man is sinking. Sometimes we like to use bits of craft material that we've got lying about, or even sieves or baskets, just to see what happens when you pour the gloop through them. As you can see, from the solids to the liquids, and it looks like it's raining, just like in Dr. Zeus's story. So the most important thing about Gloop is about having fun. What investigations can you come up with? We'd love to see your pictures and videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you for watching our Oobleck tutorial. You can stay up to date by following us on our social media channels. We're on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter.